The Indian god of wisdom and prosperity is a patron of the sciences, arts, and creativity. Gain great riches and remove obstacles from your path by sacrificing your treasury to Ganesha. Hey guys, and thanks for joining us at Tantrum House Studio 3. I'm Will Meadows.
And I'm Sara Meadows, and today we're reviewing the game Ganesha from Crowd D Games, and this is from designer Maxim Istomin.
It's an abstract strategy set collection game that takes about 20 to 40 minutes to play. It's for 2 to 4 players. Crowd Games was kind enough to send us a copy of their game to check out. So let's take a look at how it's played.
To set up the game, select the mandala board for your player count, and then choose whether you'll play on the day or night side of the board.
Give each player their player board and matching token, build the score track, and populate the altar board for your player count. Include spice tokens if you're playing the advanced variant.
Decide who the starting player will be and give them the Ganesha drum, and then you're ready to begin.
On your turn, you may choose to take any one gem from the altar board.
If you have a gem in your destiny slot and there's a gem of a matching color on the altar board, you may take it, as well as one adjacent gem.
Or if both of the gems in your destiny slot match, you may first take a gem of that color from the altar board, and then any one other colored gem from anywhere on the board.
Next, you will decide where to place the gems on your player board. Gems placed in your destiny slots will determine your options in the future, and gems placed in your treasury can be sacrificed in order to score on the mandala board.
Yellow gems do not require a sacrifice and may be scored immediately. Or you may sacrifice one yellow gem to score all of another color of matching gems.
Finally, you could sacrifice one of your other colored gems to score all the rest of the matching colored ones.
After each player has taken 3 turns, the drum is passed to the next player, the altar board is repopulated, and play continues for a total of 9 rounds.
After everyone's 9th turn, starting with a player who has the lowest score, players will take turns scoring one of their gems at a time with no sacrifice required until all of the gems are gone.
The player with the highest score will gain the coveted favor of Ganesha. One of the first things you're going to notice about Ganesha is that it is just a gorgeous game. Overall, everything about it is really beautiful. Those mandala boards on the night and the day side give you a different visual experience. They're also going to give you a different scoring experience, which is cool. The gems, I think these are like a unique cut. I have not seen this shaped gem in other games. Just overall, the scheme for it is really beautiful. It looks great out on the table. Everything feels really sharp. Even the box insert, which you might have to be a little bit smart to figure out, is great. It holds everything really, really well. Very nice, solid package overall visually.
Yeah, and gameplay, if you're interested in abstract strategy games, that's where this game fits. Your strategy will really depend on what comes out randomly from the bag each round, the 3 rounds. You can hold gems over from previous rounds and keep them in your treasury and in your destiny slots, but there's only so many of each one in the bag. Not all of them will come out for the whole game, so you're not guaranteed that every slot on that mandala is going to score.
Right, yes, and it is interesting the way the game scoring happens is those colored tracks on the mandala board are going to score different amounts of points based on whatever the next spot is. And so the strategy does come down to, do I hold on to all these gems, as many as I can, until the very end of the game when I don't have to sacrifice gems and I can score more? Or do I try to get some of those high scoring points that are going to give me a head on the board and hopefully give me enough lead that nobody else can catch up with me on?
Yeah, there are also those advanced spice tokens that can really change up gameplay. You pull out however many players you have, randomly place them on the board. Some of them have a little bit of take that where you might be taking somebody else's gems, hopefully to get them out on the board before they do, if you are able to swap some. Some just allow you to do other things like replace a gem from the bag or replace a gem with something that's out on the altar board. So those can vary in your gameplay each time that you pull them out.
And the interesting thing about those is that they happen immediately when you take them. So you, like, sometimes it's not even that attractive. I don't want that gem because I don't want that thing to happen right now. Other times it's like, oh yeah, this is the perfect turn for me to take this gem, get this power, take the other gem, take that power. Like, there's crazy things that can happen. There is like one kind of weird rule in the game where when you play a 4-player game, the last player in the lineup gets an extra 2 points at the beginning of the game, because every time you rotate that drum, you're supposed to score a point. I've seen other reviewers talk about that and have issue with it. It doesn't seem like a big deal. It's just kind of a little bit of a weird rule that's in there. I would say that your gameplay experience between player counts is going to vary a decent amount. When you play with 2 players, you are pretty calculated in like, okay, I know she's collecting these gems, I'm gonna collect these gems, I'm gonna steal that one and get it on the board before her. 3-player game, same general concept, but a lot more to look at. 4-player game, everything kind of changes because there's a really decent chance that like the last player in the turn may not even get to take gems off, just 1 gem off of the board. And the difference between taking 2 on your turn and 1 on your turn can be huge in the game.
Yes.
And so paying attention to turn order, making sure that the gem I take now is going to give me an opportunity to take 2 on the next turn. There's a lot of like looking ahead and planning out what you hope will happen on your future turns.
Yeah, and those mandala boards, there's different ones you can use, so the night and day, and then the different player counts, so it's not going to be the same game every time, especially with the randomness of the gems coming out of the bag. Overall, I thought it was a fine abstract strategy game. It's not so deep and thinky that there's a lot of AP in the game. Usually it's very clear what you need to do with what's out on the altar. I think at lower player counts, it's probably a little more back and forth chess-like. There's a lot of things available for you to take because there's only the 2 players. At 4 players, I think it does become a little more difficult because of the fighting over the fewer gems. So just something to think about on the different player accounts when you play.
Yeah, most definitely. And as she was saying, the randomness of what gems come out of the bag. Sometimes yellows are always going to be the least valuable around the outside edge. But if there's a ton of yellows out on the board, then it makes sense to sacrifice some of those early to get early points. Yeah, it's really got a neat little how everything kind of changes and gives you a different experience when you play it. It is like lighter weight, filler type of game, only a 30-minute game, but there's definitely plenty to just chew on your turn. And since it has a pretty simple rule set, just take 1 or take 2, it's definitely an easy one to jump into. But yeah, plenty to like puzzle through and figure out as you're trying to plan out your turns. Yeah,
so this sounds like something you're interested in. You can check out Ganesha from Crowd Games, and then be sure to check out our other videos. Thanks again for subscribing to Tantrum House.
One more time, just in case. I tried asking you, I don't know how to say your name, Crowd. It's got a crow. Crow D
game.
Even just the screen printed bag, everything in this is a top quality, top notch product. Product is the word.
You have to weigh your
decisions.
Yeah, decisions.